right, so friend of the show and inaugural Drop the Belt fantasy wrestling champion, Corey, a.k.a. Snuggles, which, by the way, I completely dropped the ball on doing a ceremony for Corey. So in the next week or two, we are going to have a fantasy wrestling champion celebration for Corey to crown him the season 1 Drop the Belt fantasy wrestling champion. And I got some things in the works for organizing a little. We're going to step it up a little bit in season 2. I'll say that. Like, I'm trying to get my ducks in a row, trying to get somebody to kind of commission the league so that I can just sit back and have fun and talk about it and promote it. But so a friend of the show, Corey, a.k.a. Snuggles, last year he invited me into a Royal Rumble prediction competition. He does this with his friends. It's a cool, well put together little competition that he has. And I think, if I recall correctly, I did rather well last year. Might have won. Not sure. I'm going to have to check with Corey. I think I might have won. I at least won one of the 2 divisions. But I think I might have been the overall undisputed champion. But this year, I gotta say, I'm not as confident about my predictions. So I want to run my predictions by you guys, and I want you guys to tweak my list here and chime in and tell me where I'm right and possibly where I'm wrong. Okay, so I'll tell you, I'll kind of go down the list here of the different categories, and you guys tell me what's right and what's wrong. So let's start with the Men's Royal Rumble. I get 3 choices here for who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble. I get 5 points if my first choice is right, 3 points for the second, 1 point for the third. I'm choosing The Rock in the number 1 spot. I really do. I think The Rock is going to come back. I think Dwayne shows up. I think Dwayne wins, and we set up what we've been talking about for the last year and a half, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. I think I'm pretty locked in on that idea. It would take a lot to sway me off of the idea that The Rock is winning the Royal Rumble. But my backup contention plan is that Cody Rhodes is probably second choice, right? So I got Cody Rhodes locked in at the second choice, and The Rock at 1, and Sami Zayn is my long shot. I would love for Sami Zayn to win the Royal Rumble. I just don't think it's happening. But that's and I think I'm pretty safe here. I'd like to say that I'm pretty safe picking those 3 as possible winners of the Royal Rumble. So then we move on to who's going to be the final 4 contestants in the Men's Royal Rumble. And this is where it gets a little dicey here. I went, it's got to be The Rock, because if he's winning, he's got to be in at the end. I think it's got to be Sami Zayn, because I think that I think Sami's going to have the crowd's heart, and the crowd are going to be excited. But I don't think The Rock can eliminate Sami Zayn. I think that it's going to have to work out in a different. Maybe he does. Now I'm going back. Maybe he does eliminate Sami Zayn, and that creates some tension between Roman and Sami, or The Rock and Sami. I'll have to rethink that. But I'm just picking the final 4 here. So I've got The Rock, I've got Sami Zayn, and then I think Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes make it to the end, because I think Cody offers the biggest swerve on who could win the Royal Rumble, right? People would still be believing that there's a chance, and I think Seth Rollins gets to play the villain, and Seth Rollins will probably eliminate Cody Rhodes. Somehow Sami Zayn gets knocked out, and I think The Rock eliminates Seth Rollins to win the Royal Rumble. I think that's what I'm thinking. Tell me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong here. So then we got to go surprise entrance. Well, and for Corey's contest, surprise entrance means anybody who has not officially been announced for the Royal Rumble qualify as a surprise entrance, and you get to pick 5 of them. I'm going The Rock, which I think is a sure bet. I'm going Logan Paul, which I think is a pretty sure bet. I'm going Pat McAfee, because I do believe that he'll show back up in WWE. I'm going Matt Cardona because of all the Zack Ryder stuff. And then I'm going to jump out on a ledge, and I'm going to go Nick Aldis. I've seen his name thrown around enough that I like the idea of him showing up in the Royal Rumble. But if you guys think there's a better, like a more solid choice, let me know. We'll switch that out, because I'm not locked in on that group right there. So then let's go most eliminations. You just got to go with who's hot, right? Who's hot and who's usually kind of the monster at the time. I think it's Gunther. I think it's safe to say that Gunther will have the most eliminations in this year's Royal Rumble. Who will be in the Royal Rumble the longest? I think that's Cody Rhodes. I think Cody comes in within the first 5 entrants, and then he's in it, in it to win it for the whole thing. And the winning number I'm going to pick is number 30. I think The Rock comes back number 30 because he won't be in ring shape, and so he will put on the shortest of all performances in the Royal Rumble at number 30. That's my list there. There's an entrance. You pick the 1st, 2nd, 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, 25th, and 30th. I'm not going to go over that because that's so just, throwing sand in the wind. It's almost impossible. So let's go back up. Let's go back up to the women's division here. Now, for the women's winner, I have, for 5 points, Rhea Ripley. I'm pretty sold on that idea. I think Rhea's winning the women's Royal Rumble. But the backup to that, I have Becky Lynch, which I think is a solid backup plan. And third to that, I have Alexa Bliss, because just if there was some wild card thing that happened, if they wanted to really push this Uncle Howdy shit, I think that Alexa Bliss could somehow sneak back in if she loses to Bianca Belair at the Royal Rumble. My final 4, well, you got to put Rhea Ripley in there. I think you have to have Becky Lynch in there. Then I just went out on a limb and just started, really thinking. And I think that I'm going to go Bayley and Raquel Rodriguez. Now I'm torn because I think there's a chance Liv Morgan makes it to the end. I really consider switching out Bayley with Liv Morgan. And you guys tell me if you guys think that's a good choice. I'm probably open to changing Liv Morgan changing out that 3rd spot to Liv Morgan instead of Bayley. But I think Raquel Rodriguez makes it. I think that, they're going to push Raquel Rodriguez. Surprise entrance, I have Chelsea Green. I have Beth Phoenix. I have Naomi. I have Nikki Bella. And I have Mickie James. And I am not sold on any of those. So you guys throw out surprise entrants for the Women's Royal Rumble names in the comments, and I will definitely look at them and highly consider throwing them in, because I think some of these that I have are, I don't know if I'm getting points here. I think these are extreme long shots. Most eliminations, it's either Rhea Ripley or Raquel Rodriguez. And I think if Rhea Ripley's going to win, then they're going to give the push on most eliminations to Raquel Rodriguez. Longest entry, I think, is Liv Morgan, and I don't have a winning number. I just don't have a winning number. I have no clue. I'll have to, you guys throw out what number you think's winning the Women's Royal Rumble. I imagine that Rhea Ripley is going to come in somewhere middle of the pack is what I'm imagining. But that's pretty much what I have there to kind of submit. I'd like to get that turned in by this weekend. So you guys jump in the comments and let me know anything you would change as far as those lists go. And we'll update it and get that submitted. And we can kind of take pride if we win. We can take pride as a team, the casual wrestling community team. We do this as a community. We'll win.
Step in the ring. If you ready, let's go. Hey, casual wrestling community show. You already know. Talking WWE. Keep it rolling.